Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Okay, great. Um, Today, we're going back to the very beginning, back to the start of it all, the first few chapters of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Before Hogwarts.
Before Hogwarts, exactly. Before Harry even knows he's a wizard.
Right.
And we're going to take a close look at how J.K. Rowling really sets the stage here, and especially how she introduces us to the Dursleys.
Oh, the Dursleys.
I know, right? What can we learn about them just from these early pages?
Okay.
And what about Harry's life with them? What's she giving us, even though we don't know the big picture yet?
Well, one thing that strikes me right away is that Rowling doesn't just tell us the Dursleys are awful. She shows us, those descriptions. Mr. Dursley, big, beefy.
Bursting out of his suit.
Exactly. Bursting out of his seat. You can practically picture him. And Mrs. Dursley, she's always peering at the window. And that neck.
Goes on forever.
It just goes on forever. It's almost comical, but also kind of unsettling, you know?
It is. It's like she's painting a caricature of them, highlighting all their worst qualities.
Yeah.
And then there's Dudley.
Spoiled rotten.
Oh, absolutely. The apple of their eye. And, it says so much that to them, having everything means material stuff.
Yeah.
A nice house, a fancy car, appearances.
Yeah, that's their whole world, isn't it? The outward appearance of things. Makes you wonder what they're hiding. What are they so afraid of?
Right. They're so obsessed with being normal. Anything outside of that, well, they just shut it down. Like their big secret, their connection to the Potters, to magic. Mrs. Dursley pretends she doesn't even have a sister.
Yeah, like that part of her life never happened, never existed. And they use that word undursley-ish to describe anything magical. It's like they're rejecting anything that doesn't fit their narrow little view of the world.
It makes me think about how sometimes we kind of do that in our own lives. Not to that extreme, but we build these walls around ourselves. We shut out anything that's different or scary.
That's such a great point. The Dursleys are like this exaggerated version of that. They represent that part of us that just wants to stay comfortable, avoid the unknown, even if it means missing out on something incredible.
And then there's Harry, the other Harry, the one they're hiding away.
Right, there's Dudley, and then there's this other Harry they don't want Dudley mixing with.
Right. Rowling drops these little hints about his past. About his parents, this mysterious thing that happened when he was a baby.
Yeah, we don't know the details yet, but it's clear something big went down.
It makes you want to know more. Who is this kid, and why are they treating him like he's some kind of shameful secret?
It's like we're seeing Harry through their distorted lens, you know? They see him as this burden, this unwanted outsider.
So we immediately start to question everything they say about him. Wonder about the truth they're trying so hard to hide.
And it's not like there aren't clues right from the start. Mr. Dursley, he keeps noticing these strange things. A cat reading a map, owls in broad daylight. But he just dismisses it all as, funny stuff.
Right. Funny stuff. Come on. He has to suspect something more is going on. Deep down, he must know.
He's choosing to ignore it. He's terrified of what acknowledging it would mean. It would upset his whole carefully constructed world.
And then Dumbledore and Professor McGonagall show up.
Oh.
What a contrast, right? Dumbledore with those long robes, the half-moon spectacles, you can practically feel the magic radiating off of him.
And then McGonagall, she just drops that line about Dumbledore being the only one Voldemort ever feared.
Chills. Suddenly, we get a glimpse of this whole other side of the magical world, the dangerous side.
The side the Dursleys are desperately trying to keep Harry away from.
But the truth always comes out, doesn't it? And it's McGonagall who breaks the news about Lily and James Potter, Harry's parents.
Yeah.
They're dead, and Voldemort tried to kill Harry too.
Yeah.
It's so heavy, even though we don't really know them yet.
I know. It's that emotional core of the whole series right there, this senseless loss, this pure evil.
And it makes you realize the stakes are already incredibly high, even for a baby left on a doorstep.
Oh, and speaking of that doorstep.
Right. Dumbledore leaves baby Harry with the Dursleys, along with a letter explaining everything. It's like the beginning of Harry's, his really difficult childhood.
Yeah, shrouded in secrets and denial. That letter is so symbolic. It's the truth about Harry, about his parents, about magic.
The truth they're trying to bury.
Exactly. But they can't escape it, can they?
No. And as we start to get these glimpses of Harry's life with him, it's just heartbreaking. The clothes, always too big, hand-me-downs from Dudley. That lightning bolt scar.
A constant reminder of the past they refuse to talk about.
They punish him for things he can't even control. His hair growing back too fast. It's awful. It makes you wonder, how can they be so blind to the magic in this kid?
Mm.
to who he really is.
I think it's more than blindness. It's willful. They're so scared of anything undursley-ish that they can't even see the extraordinary potential right there in front of them.
And then the letters start arriving. The letters from Hogwarts.
Things start to get interesting.
The magical world is literally trying to break through.
It's like they're trying to hold back a tidal wave.
They move Harry to Dudley's second bedroom. They run away to a remote island. It's comical how desperate they are.
It's that classic control versus chaos.
Yeah. The harder they try to control things, the more out of control it gets.
Yeah.
Like the universe itself is pushing Harry toward Hogwarts.
Right. Hagrid.
He just bursts in, he smashes down their door, and there he is, this giant of a man. No patience for muggle nonsense. And he finally tells Harry the truth. He's a wizard.
It's like watching a dam break.
It is. And Harry's face.
Yeah.
You can see the shock, the disbelief,
Yeah.
but also this glimmer of something else. Hope, maybe.
Yeah, like his whole life is about to change.
And it is. Hagrid whisks him away from Privet Drive, and it's like they're leaving the ordinary world behind, stepping into, well, we don't know exactly what yet, but we know it's magical. We know it's an adventure.
And we get to go along for the ride. Talk about a culture shock, right? I mean, one minute he's stuck with the Dursleys, the next he's in Diagon Alley.
Surrounded by magic.
Wands and cauldrons and
Yeah.
creatures he's never even imagined. It's a sensory overload, isn't it?
Even for us, reading it, you can't help but get swept up in it all.
Oh, absolutely. And then, there's that moment when Harry meets Ollivander, the wand maker. It's more than just buying a tool.
The wand chooses the wizard.
Exactly. It's like this mystical connection is being made, a bond between the wizard and the source of their magic.
It makes you wonder what kind of magic might be hidden inside all of us, what we might be capable of if we just had the chance to discover it.
That's a beautiful thought, that we all have that potential, even if we haven't found it yet.
But even with all this magic, the Dursleys still manage to, cast a shadow over it all.
Yeah.
You'd think they'd be relieved to be rid of Harry, but
Yeah.
Uncle Vernon, he still tries to stop him from going to Hogwarts.
Why?
Why are they so afraid to let go?
It's like they're clinging to this idea that they have control, even when it's clear they don't.
Right. Their fear of magic, of anything un-Dursley-ish, it's so deep-rooted.
They can't even imagine Harry embracing who he really is. It's sad. In a way, they're missing out on something extraordinary because they're too scared to open their minds.
Okay, but that scene at King's Cross Station, Harry running through the wall to get to platform 9 3/4, come on, that's got to be one of the best moments in the book.
It's such a great metaphor, isn't it?
He's breaking through the barriers between the ordinary world and the magical world. It's like a leap of faith.
Exactly. He's leaving behind everything he's ever known and stepping into the unknown. And once he's on that train, there's no going back. He's committed to this new life, this new destiny.
And what a journey it is. He meets Ron and Hermione.
He gets sorted into Gryffindor.
He starts learning about all these amazing things. Potions, charms, herbology, and Quidditch.
Oh, yeah, Quidditch. Can't forget Quidditch.
It's like a whole new chapter of his life has begun, filled with all these possibilities, but also challenges. I mean, even in this magical world, there's still danger.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There's Snape.
Snape, yeah. He seems to have it out for Harry from the start.
And Malfoy. Don't forget Malfoy and his goons.
Oh, right, Malfoy. And then the whole mystery surrounding the Sorcerer's Stone.
Yeah.
That's a lot for an 11-year-old to deal with.
Even a magical 11-year-old, it shows that even in this world, in this amazing magical world, there's still darkness. There are still forces at play that want to do harm.
It's like, no matter where you go, there are going to be challenges.
Right. But Harry, he faces them head on. He makes friends. He learns to trust his instincts. He starts to understand the power of love and sacrifice.
He's a natural when it comes to magic. I mean, think about how quickly he picked up Quidditch. It's like he was born to fly.
He has this innate talent, this raw ability that even the most skilled wizards recognize. He's special.
It's like destiny is calling him, drawing him towards his true potential. And even though he spent his whole life, up to this point, not knowing he was a wizard,
Right.
it's clear that those years with the Dursleys, they shaped him.
In ways he probably doesn't even realize.
Right. They taught him resilience. They taught him the value of kindness, of standing up for what's right, even when it's hard.
It's like those hardships, those moments of darkness, they made him stronger, more determined to fight for the light.
You know, looking back on these early chapters, it's amazing how much foreshadowing Rowling manages to weave in.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it's all there, but we don't realize it until later. Snape's dislike for Harry, for example. We find out later it goes way deeper than we could have ever imagined.
Like, first impressions aren't always what they seem.
Right.
Yeah.
And that whole thing with mirrors, the Mirror of Rust, obviously.
Yeah.
But even before that, Harry keeps seeing his reflection in shop windows.
Yeah.
And he feels this sense of recognition.
Like he doesn't belong in the ordinary world.
Exactly. It's like she's subtly hinting at his true identity all along, even before he knows it himself. And those little details, like Hagrid accidentally mentioning Fluffy's weakness, is music.
Yeah.
They end up being so important later on. It's all connected.
It's like she's building this incredibly intricate puzzle, and every piece, no matter how small, has its place. That's part of what makes rereading the book so rewarding. You notice new things every time.
And you start to see how those seemingly ordinary things in the beginning, like the Dursleys and their obsession with normalcy, it's like a metaphor for how we limit ourselves sometimes.
That's a great way to put it. They represent those self-imposed limitations we all put on ourselves. They choose to live in a world without magic, without wonder.
And Harry, by embracing his magical heritage, he shows us what it means to break free from those limitations, to be who we truly are, even if it's different.
That's a powerful message, a reminder that we all have the potential for greatness, even if it's hidden under a layer of ordinary.
You know, we've talked a lot about the magic and the wonder in Harry Potter, but there's also, there's some pretty complex ideas in this book, aren't there? Like good versus evil.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And it's not always as clear-cut as it seems, is it? I mean, take Snape, for example. He's this dark, brooding figure
Yeah.
looming over Harry. But then as we get further into the story, well, we start to see there's a lot more to him, a lot more going on.
Right. Like his past with Harry's parents, his connection to Lily, his rivalry with James. It adds a whole other layer to him. Makes him more than just a villain.
It's like those classic stories where the villain, well, they weren't always bad. Something happened, something made them who they are. And it makes you think, right, about whether people are truly good or bad, or if we're all capable of both.
Yeah. It's a question that stays with you throughout the whole series, and it makes the choices the characters make even more important. Because it's not just about fighting evil. It's about being better, choosing to do what's right.
Even when it's hard, even when it's the harder choice. And even Voldemort, you know, he wasn't born evil. He was once Tom Riddle, this brilliant Hogwarts student, full of potential, but he chose a different path.
It's a chilling thought, isn't it? That anyone, even someone so gifted, could be tempted by that kind of power. And choose darkness. Makes you think about the choices we all make, right? The paths we choose.
And the things that might lead us astray. But it also shows how important it is to resist those temptations, to hold on to what we believe in, our values. Even when things are tough.
You know, it's interesting. We've been kind of hard on the Dursleys, haven't we? Painting them as these symbols of fear and small-mindedness.
Yeah, a little bit. But they did raise Harry for 10 years.
I know, right? As awful as they were, they gave him a home. Kept him safe in their own way. Maybe their ordinariness, their obsession with being normal, it actually protected him in a way. Shielded him from the magical world until he was ready.
You know, it's possible Dumbledore planned it that way. He's always thinking ahead, playing the long game.
So maybe the Dursleys, they actually played a part in Harry's destiny. Who would have thought? It's like every piece of the story, no matter how small, it all fits together.
Exactly. It all contributes to the bigger picture.
Well, there you have it. Another deep dive complete. We've explored the world of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, uncovered some hidden meanings, maybe even challenged a few assumptions along the way.
It's amazing, isn't it, how much is packed into just these first few chapters. It's a testament to J.K. Rowling's skill as a writer. The world she created, it's magical, but it's also real, full of wonder and humor, but also these really profound truths.
As you continue your own journey with Harry Potter, keep those things in mind. Keep asking questions. Look for the details. Think about how knowing the full story changes your understanding of the beginning.
Here's something to think about. What if Harry had grown up in the wizarding world? What if he'd known he was a wizard all along? How would his journey have been different? Would he still be the same Harry Potter we know and love? Something to ponder as you explore this amazing world. Thanks for joining us on another deep dive.